Hello, this is for the 20th of June, the third Sunday after Trinity, and the reading is Mark's Gospel, chapter 4, verses 35 to 41. Jesus stilling the storm. You may know the story. Jesus and his disciples set off in a boat across Lake Galilee. He falls asleep because he's had a long, tiring day healing and teaching. And then a sudden storm whips up the waves, and the disciples are terrified. A lot of them probably couldn't swim. And they wake Jesus up saying, "Don't you care that we're drowning?" And he gets up and says to the storm, as though it's an angry beast, "Peace, be still." And in the immortal words of Mark's Gospel, there was a dead calm, and the disciples are left in awe at who this man is. That's the story. And as a vicar, I'm occasionally asked to pray for good weather for particular events, and that reminds me to tell you about both the cream teas at Fearing Church on Sunday the 27th from 3 o'clock, and St Mary's Fete on Saturday the 3rd of July from 3 as well. Just a small advertising break there. But when I'm asked to pray for good weather, I often quote what I believe was a Roman Catholic priest who said, "I'm just sales and front of house. You need to talk directly to the management about that." Which usually raises a bit of a smile, even though it's an old joke. But climatologists would tell you that weather doesn't quite work like that. If we don't get the bad weather, someone else will. Well, at the moment, the whole world seems to be going through a storm, as we know, and we're not out of it yet. And it will be a while before we can go into calmer waters. And actually, from the earliest days of the church, this story was understood in those terms. This is a man called Tertullian, who lived from about AD 155 to about 220, so very early in the church's life, and he wrote this about this story. "That little ship offers us a figure of the church, for she is tossed by the sea, that is the world, and by the waves, that is persecutions and temptations, with the Lord patiently sleeping, as it were, until awakened by the prayers of the saints, he checks the world and restores tranquility to his own." Well, the world and all of us, as much as the church, are going through this storm. And whatever storms buffet us, whether the external storm, if you like, of the pandemic, or the internal storms of our own conflicts and fears and anxieties and loneliness and dread, we have to put our trust in the Christ who seems to be sleeping, but in fact is there to calm our fears and give us peace, even if that peace is not the permanent peace we long for and know we won't get in this world. I'd like to finish with a prayer by Jeffrey John, which sums up where we are. "Give us, Lord, the grace to walk by faith through every storm of life, to keep our eyes on you. And when we fail to see or start to sink, stretch out your hand to raise us up, so we may learn to hold to you through good and ill, until we come to the haven where we would be, in everlasting joy and peace." May you know something of that peace and stillness amidst these storms now. Amen.